Bang! Neves Knives. I'm Jared. My lovely wife, Kara, is busy. And in this video, we are talking about great lightweight knives. Now, there's so many knives out there and so many different sizes. This isn't just based upon small little knives. We're going to do some big knives too, but just knives that are light for their size. Now, this is a knife specifically made to be lightweight. This is the Para 3 lightweight. It's basically all FRN. It has one liner right here on the back side that is just for the lock, but other than that, I mean, it's all FRN in blade. So it's extremely lightweight. It actually only even has one washer on one side. Sometimes I think they try to go a little too crazy with the lightweightness. I'm not personally somebody who worries about weight so much, but I do enjoy a good lightweight knife every now and then. They're easy to carry, easy to, just depending on what you're doing for the day or where you're going, sometimes a lightweight knife is good. So let's get into it. This is the Para 3 lightweight, comes in all different types of steels, and they also have just the regular version, the Para 3, which, has G10 scales, but this is the lightweight in FRN, which is very light. Next. This is something that, some of these you might not consider them lightweight. Maybe they're just light to me. So I'm not going to talk about the weight really. I'm just going to show the knives and, things that I think are kind of lightweight. This is the Honey Badger, and this is the small one. So I can't speak on the medium and large one, but the small one, I mean, this thing's relatively light. It's FRN. It does have steel liners on both sides. So it's going to be maybe a little heavier than what it would be if it had weight relief. But to me, this is a very lightweight knife and super fidgety. A great little knife. I like that knife. All right, and I'm not a huge FRN fan. Next, the Civivi Elemenum. This is just a lightweight option to me. It has tons of milling on the liners on the inside. You can actually see through the Jade G10. You can see, man, it's got so much milling inside there. But you're still getting a good size blade, a very usable blade length. And that's kind of the point sometimes. It's like, am I getting a knife, because we can go as lightweight as you want, but then what are you carrying, So great knife, especially for the weight. The Civivi Elemenum, that one's the one in S35VN. None of these are in any particular order. The Benchmade Bugout. So off the bat, these things are light, so even when you upgrade them and get scales on them and stuff, they're still very lightweight. I've never tried a titanium version, but I would imagine that even with titanium scales, it's still very light. So this with the burlap, black burlap micarta, this is extremely light, but it feels a little bit stronger than what it would be with the FRN. I actually like this version a lot. The like I was saying before, you're actually getting a full, I don't know about full size, but a decent sized knife for the weight. And it is very lightweight. I mean, this thing is so easy to carry. It's a gym knife. It's a, running around in sweatpants knife. Me personally, I always put my knives on my waistband when I'm wearing pajama pants or jogging pants or basketball shorts. Next up, Cold Steel 4max. Oh, wait, no. Oh, wait, no, not that one. The Kershaw Atmos. So this thing is extremely lightweight. One is FRN, and the liners, it's just the lock bar. So it's just on the lock bar side, and I believe, yeah, I think it's, yeah, so you just have the lock bar side and a nice hollow ground blade. Good EDC size, but extremely light. Deep carry clip, so you basically just lose it in your pocket. The action is really good on these. This one's an HCR, 18 MOV or 13 MOV, one of those. So not a bad knife, very lightweight. Sticking with Kershaw, the Kershaw leak. And I'm gonna ramble really quick and tell a little story. So a couple of years back when I got this knife, I was getting back into knives. Kara had bought me this knife right here. The Kershaw Zing, I think it is. whatever. RJ Martin design, Kershaw Zing. These are both assisted knives. The assist on this one's broke. But cool little knife. A nice worn cliff blade. I think I flattened out this edge. I think it had a little bit of belly before. It is a hollow grind. Great EDC blade shape. And, you know, it's got the thumb studs and the flipper tab. This one's, I mean, in pretty bad condition now. I powder coated this. This is a powder coating, so this isn't what it looked like before. Both scales were like this. Anyways, the point of the story is then I bought this. And I was doing construction. Watch as I can still flick it out with some wrist, because otherwise, wah, wah. But I bought it, I was doing construction, I was doing tons of utility cuts, and when I seen it, it was just like, man, that is a cool little blade. Nice hollow grind, worn cliff. So I bought it. And I carried this thing religiously every single day and beat the hell out of it. The last time I've carried it since then, since this last time, but the last time I really remember beating the heck out of it, I brought it to work, and I actually went to Indiana, and I was doing a basement. I was doing drywall on a basement, and I was also building another room. And for whatever reason, we didn't have our utility knife. I think we had one, so the person I was working with had a utility knife, and I decided to use this as my utility knife. I cut drywall with this knife, and it plowed through it. It did really good, and at the end, it still was reasonably sharp. I mean, obviously, I'm not using the whole blade when I'm cutting. I'm just using the tip like that, and I was scoring, you know, and then you crack the drywall in half, and I was using this knife, and it held up great. It did the job. And so besides that, I mean, I was doing all kinds of other construction with it. Like I said, the spring in it for the assist is broke, but it's still ticking. It's still a good knife. The lockup's almost at 100%, but it's still locked up very strong. I mean, this is a great knife, man. And just a lightweight, thin EDC knife that, even though it's so thin and so lightweight, this thing still was a workhorse for me and got the job done. Now, next up, let's go to this one. So this is the Quiet Carry Waypoint. This, to me, you know, to some people might not be considered a lightweight. It is all titanium. It has a steel liner for the lock bar. 100% rust resistant, I guess you could say. Vanex steel, which is basically like a super steel that is very, very corrosion resistant. But to me, it's so sleek, so thin. It's thin this way, nice thin blade stock, very short this way, nice hollow grind, very thin behind the edge. That, to me, this is an extremely lightweight knife. If I want a very lightweight full-size knife, this is a great option. I mean, it's very compact to me, but you still get a full-size knife. And I like that when I think of a lightweight knife. I want something that's lightweight, thin, you know, something that's very easy to carry, yet I still have a full-size knife. Now, when you go to something like this, this is the Real Steel slim something. The heck is it? Oh, man. The Real Slim. Anyways, so this might be a little extreme for lightweight and thin carry for some people, but to me, this is still a lightweight option. It's extremely lightweight. I mean, this thing is paper thin. So it's gonna cut, you know, it's not much of a tip, you know, more of a rounded tip, but this will be a specific knife for a specific person in an office setting maybe, or maybe you just like having basically like a letter opener on you. Obviously, this is a specific task type of knife, but this is extreme thinness and lightness. I mean, this is steel right here, so it's not as light as it could be, but since it's so micro thin, it's very light. Next up, the Spyderco Dragonfly. Now this is where it does get small, but even though it's very small, I can get a full grip on it because of the choil. And these come in all different kinds of steels. This one happens to be in a San Mai Hap 40, but just a super useful little knife, man. This is very well known, I guess, in the knife community. A lot of people really like the Dragonfly. It's just such a useful little tiny knife and a great secondary. Next up, since we talked about the Elementum, might as well bring in the Civivi Pintail. Basically the exact same size as the Elementum and super duper slicey, very, very thin hollow. But this is a great lightweight option in my opinion. It's a lightweight EDC knife. You're getting, I don't know about a full-size knife, you know, but you're getting a reasonable size knife and it's very, very useful. Civivi Pintail. Now let's go to this one right here actually. The Civivi McKenna. This thing is very, very light, especially for the G10 version. Now I know they have brass and copper versions that are going to be heavy, but that's kind of the beauty with this, is that you could put brass or copper scales on this and it's not going to be like a tank in your pocket. It's such a sleek little knife. You're getting a great blade length, so you're getting basically a full-size cutting edge for a very slim package. I mean, you forget this thing's in your pocket. It's so small, but not small like length, but small sleekness, yet it's 10 thousandths behind the edge, very thin, beautiful blade shape for EDC. What a great little knife. I'd love to get a copper or brass version of this. Now let's step it up a notch. Let's talk about the Artisan Centauri. I always thought this was a damn hollow grind, and then I found out it's a flat grind. Oh, I felt like an idiot when I learned that. Anyways, this thing for a full-size knife, because this is a full-size knife. This isn't the mini, but they also make a small version of this. So if this is a little too big for you, they do have a small version. But since it's titanium on one side, and then with this version, it's the carbon fiber, they do make micarta versions too. But either way, it's going to be extremely light for, what, a 3.5-inch blade? I mean, I think that's what that is. Let's check it out really quick. I believe it is a 3.5-inch blade. So you got a full-size knife, very good cutter, great ergos, very slim. I mean, this thing is very slim. So very easy to carry. And yeah, there you go. Nice blade shape for EDC too. Now, this one, this is the mini Feldspar. This is pushing the limits of where, like, for this size, the weight, because it does have full liners and they're not milled out at all. But this is still, it's not a heavy knife. You know, it's got G10 and it's the small version. Now, the big version could be considered heavy maybe to some people, but the small version, great EDC knife, and it's relatively lightweight, not heavy. I mean, maybe everybody's opinions are different. So here we go. This is the Asher Knives Spyro. Now, this one, same kind of deal where it has liners, but the liners are thinner on the inside of here, so it doesn't go all the way out to the sides, but it does have full liners that are not milled out. So it's not going to be extreme lightweight, but for the knife you're getting, thin blade stock, great ergos, deep carry pocket clip. The action is fantastic. It's light to me. To me, when I put this in my hand, this is a very lightweight knife, easy to carry, and just, yeah, a great, great option for if somebody doesn't want a really heavy knife. Now, here is the Brower, the Spyderco Brower. Now, same thing. A lot of people might not consider this a lightweight knife because it is small and compact, but it is all G10 on one side with milled out steel liners, if you can see that. There's a steel liner on the side, and then titanium on this side. So, but you're getting a full grip knife, and to me, this is super easy to carry around. I've never put this in my pocket and thought, man, I got a big knife on me, because it's not, and it's very easy to carry. Now, this one, I'm considering it if it had the other scales on it, but the 940-1. Originally, the 940-1 had carbon fiber scales. Now the carbon fiber scales makes this extremely, extremely light. This S90V Benchmade 940, well, now it's in titanium. This is still very lightweight, very easy to carry. I mean, this thing's extremely easy to carry. I mean, I forget it's even in my pocket. Now, when you throw the carbon fiber scales on there, it is so light, it almost doesn't make sense. But yet you have a full-size knife. Great, great option for somebody who wants a lightweight EDC. And the blade shape's really good too. Love the blade shape. Next up, the Sencut Scepter. Now this actually has milling all the way through it. So it has steel liners, full steel liners, but they are milled out on one side. Very much. Micarta is extremely, extremely light. So this is a nice, compact, lightweight knife. You get a full grip on it, whether you're using the finger choil or not. Great blade shape for EDC. And yeah, man, deep carry clip, very easy to carry, super light, in my opinion. Now here's a full-size knife. A lot of people might disagree with this one, but I'm gonna say the Sencut Actium is a good lightweight, full-size knife because it has milling all the way through it. On both sides, I guess. The milling on the one side's subtle, it's only a couple spots, but the other side all milled out. And it's a full-size knife. We're talking about a 3.5-inch blade here. Great ergo. So if you want a big knife, I guess you could say, it's very easy to carry on a budget. Because remember, you know, the more you pay, the lighter you can probably get with some of these. But this is a great option. Under 40 bucks, full-size knife. Great thin, very thin hollow grind. Amazing action. Definitely one of the best knives of the year. Now, let's talk about the Wee Kite Fin. The Wee Kite Fin is a full titanium knife that does not have milling on each side. It does not have any milling. But for what it's worth, I mean, this is such an easy knife to carry because it's so thin and compact. The blade is super thin, nice, deep, thin hollow grind. So all this, there's not a lot of steel there, but you're getting a super slicer, very thin, super easy to carry. You forget it's in your pocket. I mean, just very easy to carry, yet you have a full-size knife that's very, very capable. Now, we're just going to pull out a couple more. So this is going to be small now, but we have the Little Main Street. This one's in micarta, but it doesn't have a liner on one side. It has a liner, just a lock bar on this side. So it's just a lock bar. That's it. All the rest, there's nothing there. So this is incredibly, incredibly light. Super duper light. Very fidgety. And I would be pulling out the Kaiser Shard right now, which is the same designer, but Kara's got it somewhere. I sharpened it. I had it ready for a video, and then Kara took off with it. I don't know where it's at. I'll find it, but I got to do that review. But yeah, I would throw that in here too. But this thing is, it's very small, so of course it's going to be lightweight. But yeah, extremely light, even for how small it is. One of my ultimate favorite lightweight knives for a full-size lightweight knife is the TRM Atom. This thing is very, very light, very slim in the pocket. You just forget it's in your pocket, but yet when you're ready, you do have a full-size knife. I mean, it's a full-size knife and titanium liners, so it does have liners, but they are titanium. And oh man, it's just so smooth. Great cutter, great blade shape. Great everything. I mean, even the clip works so good. Titanium spring clip, plenty of room under there, and it just carries so good. This thing is an awesome, awesome knife that I love to use, carry, and it's so easy. I mean, yeah, badass. TRM Atom. Carbon fiber. Carbon fiber itself is very, very light. So when you start putting on thin, you know, thin blade, thin everything, it really brings the weight down. All right, now I'm going to pull out one big dog. So here is the Civivi Bugout. Now this is considered a big knife. It's 9 inches overall. People are probably thinking like, how the hell is a 9-inch knife a lightweight knife? Well, it's milled out to the max. I mean, even on the lock bar side, it's all milled out. both sides completely milled out. Then you have a very thin blade stock, nice and thin behind the edge. It has this big cutout in the blade for you to reverse flick, and it's got thumb studs. So even the clip is milled. I mean, it's very, for a 4-inch blade, this thing is very light considering, because I could pull out a knife like this that has a 4-inch blade, and I mean, this whole knife is probably the weight of just the blade on the Spartan Harsey. So very, very light considering how big and how thin. And also for a 4-inch knife, this is so easy to carry. Now, last one, and this is kind of the ultimate lightweight knife, the North Arm CARHARTT. This thing is so light, it's insane. It defies all knife logic. I mean, it's micro light. I don't even know if that's a word. There's no scale on this side. It's all carbon fiber. The only thing there is a liner. And I don't mean like a whole liner. It's just a lock bar. So all you have is one lock bar right here. All the rest is, it's just all carbon fiber. So even the blade has these mill lines on it. So, and it's just so light. You're getting a full-size knife, and it doesn't make sense when you grab it and feel it. It just feels so light. But North Arm CARHARTT, I love you guys. Thanks for watching. Peace.